Hello, this is Starcraft 2 Element, and today we're going to bring you some zerg vs zerg action. On the left here in the blue we got Flurryfox, which is me. And on the right we got my good friend Rio, who is also zerg, in the red on the right. A lot of people know zerg is a Russian people that like to make a lot of zerglings and just 6 pool all the time, but that's not how everybody plays. I mean, right here in this match we both go about 13-14 pool, meaning zerg's not all about rushing. But especially in this map, it's great for expanding, since every player has at least 2 expanding places right next to it. As you can see here, what I'm showing you are expanding places. Though in this game we don't eventually get to expand due to it being pretty short. I mean, it's only 11 minutes. But still, it's still great for expanding. Anyway, as you can see, we're talking here. Rio's in Platinum and I'm in Gold. This is quite back in the day. I'm now in Platinum myself. Not really that great, but still. But this also means that all these updates weren't done yet, meaning a lot of things aren't upgraded, meaning roaches only have 3 range instead of 4, and some buildings may have a lower hit point count or whatever. So if you recognize anything that's been updated and you find it suspicious, that's why, because it was made back in the day. And as you can see here, we're just starting out. Everyone's going for the basic stuff. Here, I'll pull out the little production tab right here. As you can see, Rio and I just each made an extractor. In fact, Rio is going to make 2 here. Yep, there it is. We're not making extractors for gas, but rather than to get the zerg glitch, which is the drone glitch, where we have a 10 out of 10 capacity, and then once you make extractor or 2, you'll go back down 8 or 9, depending on how many zerg drones you made an extractor with. And as soon as you made those other zerg drones, you can cancel these extractors, leaving you up to 12 out of 10 for your capacity. And I only did that with 1. Rio did that with 2. And it doesn't really matter if you both end up with about the same minerals, perhaps a few mineral difference. This is mainly about the time difference that a lot of people do it for. It's not really done as much now. But moving on to overlords, as you can see, they're very slow, and not only can they fly over the sides of the map like this, they're also pretty great for scouting. But due to the fact that they're really slow, you have to send them out at the very beginning of the game. Meaning, like, come on, we set this out at the beginning of the game. It's been about almost 2 minutes, and they're barely moving halfway across the map. And as you can see right now, we've just seen each other. You can see my vision, or Rio's vision. He just saw my overlord over here, and he's sending a drone scout out right now. And my vision, I just saw his. I still haven't sent a scout out, which is really bad. You really need a scout out. I highly emphasize that, because as soon as you send a scout out, you basically know what your opponent is making. You can counter it, which can lead to several victories, so you should always scout. Again, I do not, meaning that's really bad, so you should. And as you can see here, we're starting up to making our spawning pools. Rio started making his a little earlier than I did, and then I made mine. But then again, I also started my extractor, which is also a very great detail, because you need that acceleration for your speedlings, for your zerglings, and to make them into speedlings, which is called metallic boost, and they require 100 gas, which can, if you time it right, you make the extractor, then the spawning pool, and have 3 at that extractor. You should get 100 gas right when the spawning pool hatches up, so you'll be able to get that as fast as you can, making your zerglings much powerfuler than they were, since they're able to surround your enemy and you're able just to take them down that much faster. Anyway, as you can see, our spawning pools are both halfway up. He's about 10 game counts higher than I am. I'm at like 35, and he's currently at about 46, you know, somewhat close. But every second counts. And as you can see, my extractor finally finished, so I'm about to pull some drones out of my mining line here. Go there. And also, you can see his extractor just finished. He's also pulling out some more and making some more drones and whatnot. It's very important to get that gas, as I mentioned, especially if you're going to a roach build that I believe I am. You don't really need that much gas for roach. It's only 25 each. So a lot of players only use 1 extractor instead of 2. They only use 2 if they start moving on to hydras or mid-late games. But it's highly suggested you do, especially if you want that layer open to get those upgrades and hydras and other tier 2 or tier 3 units. As you can see here, we have Rio scouting his overlord, which is always good to scout other places so you know your opponent will expand there. Though preferably his overlord should be over here, so if I were to expand this close space next to my main base, you would see it and would be able to counter me there. Now what's pretty surprising here is that Rio is still scouting with this drone here, even though he knows I'm up here, since his overlord is right here, saw mine coming from the right here, and made contact with mine. So I really don't know what he's doing there, but eventually he does send his drone up there, I believe. And as you can see here, I send my overlord up here to scout his base, which is always good unless you see their spawning pull up, because as soon as they make that queen, it can attack air, and it can attack really good against air. As you can see, once the queen pops out, you'll see it has 9 attacking against air with 1 attack speed, which is pretty fast compared to overlord speed and their health. As you can see, I'm trying to run away, trying to get some last scouting information, but it's really highly suggested you pull back. As you can see, Rio saw my overlord because I'm next to his base. And once this queen pops out, he's going to be attacking that thing and it's going to die. Which is really going to set me back because I need that capacity limit to be as high as possible so I won't get held back from it, making units and such. Now as a Zerg player and playing against other Zerg players, I know that a lot of them like to rush sometimes. And just to take that extra precaution, you'd always make a queen, which is great countering for them since they have range and they have a lot of health. So a couple of Zerglings won't do much against a queen, but at the masses they will. That's why I always make a spine crawler near my base, so if I make it up right here-ish, they can just simply run past and attack my drones, where if I make it here, they'll have a harder time attacking my drones, and I do believe later in the game I make another one about right here, so then even if they do run past this one, they'll still have to hit my other spine crawler in order to attack my drones. And as you can see, I made some Zerglings along with Rio here. He's already sending up to attack, did a little brief scouting. And as you can see, we're still talking. Yes, I do talk a lot. It's pretty weird, but I hate quiet games. It doesn't really get anywhere. Anyway, as you can see, I believe this is the part where I start making my second spine crawler. Oh, and another important tip is to always spread creep with your queen. Since Zerg is basically dependent on speed, a lot of Zerg units aren't that great. Like Zerg units aren't that great, 35, only 5 attack. And Mutalisks aren't that great. They got 120 HP about, I think, and they got only 9 attack. But the thing is, you can harass very well with Zerg units, especially if they're on creep or the speed boost, which we never really got here. Another bad tip for me. So you always want to get the metallic boost there. And as you can see, my capacity went down due to him killing my overlord with his queen here. As you can see, it's walking back. Again, another tip: queens die if they aren't on creep. Look at their move speed is 0.94. And on creep is it's 0.94 plus 1.56, meaning they'll have over 2.5 speed, which really makes them faster. Zerglings are like one of the fastest units in the game. I believe they match the speed of Broodlings fired by Broodlords, tier 3 Zerg units, and they have 2.85 unupgraded speed and off creep. So with off creep, or if they were to be on creep with the metallic boost, they would really get some nice speed in there. And as you can see, I'm moving my spine crawler back just in case they try to mask me with some Zerglings. As you can see from the previous attack, I assumed that he was going to go for more. And as you can see, we're also both transitioning into layers, meaning we're probably going to be pushing out some higher tiers. I know Rio here just sticks to the Zerglings, but eventually moves out into Spire. And Spires are really good against Zerg units. Basically anything is good against Zerg if it's air early on in the game, due to Zerg not having many anti-air attacking units. Like the only one early in the game is a Queen, and the only other ones are Hydras if they happen to get them out fast enough, which not a lot of people do if they want to put it on early pressure. Also, as you can see here, I'm making my second extractor here along with my Roach Warren. Now, it's not necessarily needed to need the second extractor, but it's highly recommended, especially when you're going to layer to get more upgrades and such. Now, what you also want to take note of is that I stopped really making Zerglings for the most part, as I'm going to be transitioning into Roaches once that Roach Warren is done. And now this is where he attacks. I saw him with my Overlord here, and I do believe it doesn't go so well. I mean, based on the Zergling count, he would definitely beat me Zergling against Zergling. But since he's at my base with my spine crawlers and my queen, I really do have the upper advantage. And here he goes with this little drone here, trying to put a spine crawler down, which is really good early in the game if they don't notice it. You can put it way off in the creep right here, then move it in over here and attack the drones. But in a mid game like this, when you